Já estamos ao vivo, não, Pedro?
Acho que sim, isto hoje foi tudo a correr, a substância.
Já estamos ao vivo?
Você gosta de fazer em cima da corda bamba.
Hey everyone, welcome. So, for the Portuguese people that are watching this, we announced it that for this week only, Safe Zone will be fully in English. And will be fully in English because we have a very interesting guest with us today that do not speak Portuguese. And of course, I think it's safer for all of us to speak in his language. So I already saw that you made some comments there. You can still make it in Portuguese. I will translate it for our guest. But let's go international, everyone. Let's just comment in English. Even my Regie today will speak English.
Only English, please.
So, Safe Zone is back. Safe Zone is the podcast of Associação Nacional de Airsoft and Airsoft in Portugal. We went on a summer break. We all deserved a summer break. How was your
Do you have summer break?
No, I did not.
I'm happy for you.
Yeah. Well, we did have some breaks, but
the program has the break.
Yeah, the podcast had breaks, but Anna is always working. As you saw at the intro, Dystopia is almost there. It's the next event of Anna Airsoft that will be played on a very mythic field in Portugal. Fábrica da Pólvora, pessoal. So Dystopia will be played there in 6 weeks, and tickets will be online next Friday. So if you want to play this next Friday at 11:59, just go there, click on it, and come
Lisbon
join us.
time.
Huh?
Lisbon time.
Yeah, Lisbon time. So today the podcast will be focused on discussing Airsofter World. If you do not know what Airsofter World is, don't worry, Safe Zone will save you. We will explain you today what Airsofter World is all about. It's a great platform, as you will see, and it has a lot of resources. Some of the resources that we are always complaining and screaming in Portugal, things that we always say in Portugal that it needs to exist, it already exists outside of Portugal. That is why we are having this podcast in English. That is why we are showing this to you, because there are a lot of things outside of our little country that is beneficial for us all to know. But before further ado, and because this cannot be translated,
no,
this will never be translated.
Damn it.
Max fora, réplicas em safe, chegaram ao safe zone. Yeah, so now we are truly back. Safe Zone is back. The intro has already played, so that means Safe Zone third season is already back. But do not worry for the Portuguese audience that is watching this live or after, or in YouTube, Spotify, or Facebook after. Next week, Maria will be back with Flashlight, fully Portuguese, of course. And Safe Zone will be back in 2 weeks from now, fully Portuguese as well. This is only an exception. Don't worry. We will return to the beautiful Portuguese
language.
Yeah. So, Nuno Pedro, before I call our guest, a lot of activities of Anna.
Yeah.
So,
do you want to talk about it?
Yeah, real quick.
Yeah.
So this Saturday, what will happen here at the headquarters?
We'll start a series of workshops that we'll sold last week. It's a good sold. A few people, because our headquarters is not too much. Okay, and it's the test for the future workshop that Anna will go to further.
Nice.
Saturday is off. We do what's the team? Do you know?
It's maintenance.
Maintenance. Okay.
Yeah. So, like I told you in the beginning, we went on a summer break on the podcast, but Anna did not. So we work a lot for this school return. Let's call it that way. A lot of actions going on. Dystopia will happen in 6 weeks. Workshops is happening until the end of the year. So if you want to know more about airsoft guns maintenance, if you want to understand a little bit more the practical things of airsoft, how to play it, how to move like a team, how to move like an individual. Special Forces from Portuguese will give us some workshops. So tickets are still available, I guess.
For the Saturday, no, it's closed. But we will still open for the next one.
Okay, so if you are willing to jump into the workshop of maintenance, no go. It's already closed. But the next 2 ones will be very practical. So you will learn how to move as an airsoft player. You learn how to move as a team. You learn a lot of skills that military use, and they will explain it to us, of course, adjusting to airsoft. And because it's Anna, it's not only just a workshop. On the practical part of things, you will feel all the Anna extravaganzas. So you will see all the things that you usually see at our events. We're going to turn it up a little bit, so you will have a more inclusive workshop. So you can expect some Talibans on the field. You can expect some vehicles on the field. We're going to have some parachutes on this workshop, Pedro?
Maybe.
No. Let's see. Well, without further ado, I'm going to call Robert Verage to this podcast, and he will say his name better than me. I'm sure.
I will try.
Hey, Robert.
Laurel.
Welcome to podcast. Welcome to Safe Zone. Welcome to Portugal.
Thank you very much for having me. I've been following Anna for a while, and it's nice to be here and talk to you guys. It's been nice talking to you for a while. So yeah, I'm very happy to be here.
Okay, you said that you were. How did you found Anna?
I think it was Homer that first announced, somewhere mentioned it to me, and then of course I'm working as close as possible with Ars Alpha. I'm supporting them as much as I can, and Anna has been on their supporting list also. So that's one of the reasons why I found Anna and what they've been doing. I follow it on Facebook and all the other social media, how much they try to put effort in the airsoft sport, and everything that puts effort into the airsoft sport is on my radar. So yeah, good job.
We hope to receive you in Portugal in the upcoming months, and hopefully we will be able to have a conversation on this podcast face to face. Hopefully,
I would love that.
I'm sure we will get you in Portugal in no time. So, Rob, for the ones who do not know you or do not recognize your face, can you explain a little bit more who you are, how long are you playing Airsoft, and where are you based?
Yeah, sure. So most people call me Rob because my full name is Robrecht Verhaeghe, which is way too difficult for most people to pronounce, which I totally understand. I've been going to a lot of international games, and most people call me Rob. I started playing Airsoft in 2006. I started organizing games in 2006. I'm very active on every aspect of Airsoft. I'm the president of the Belgium Airsoft Association. I've been organizing games. I've been part of bigger organizers. I've been going to international games, local games, helping people. Yeah, for all those years, I've been very, very active. I lived in Belgium. Recently, we moved to Sweden, and one of the reasons is, well, it is a beautiful country, but Airsoft is really amazing here. You have a lot of capabilities of doing big games. They're like Burgett, Bellum, and all those big games are been played here because of the beautiful nature.
I never played in Sweden, but next year maybe I need to go. I need to go. I think the events that we saw happening there, we just need to go. We have some Portuguese teams and Portuguese players that usually go there every year. But yeah, I need to
talk to your wife.
Well, yes. I think she's watching. Maybe on the chat you can all say, "Hey, let Stana go play outside." Hashtag free Stana.
Well, it is a possibility to just go to Sweden for playing Airsoft, and your wife can go visit beautiful countryside, just having a fun time while you play Airsoft.
I tried all of those excuses throughout my Airsoft years. So I need to find new tricks. No, but the same goes for you, and the same goes for the ones who are watching us. Feel free to come to Portugal. Portugal has a lot of, first, it has a lot of great airsoft games, a lot of great organizers, and I'm not talking about just Anna. Of course, Anna is Anna is placing the standard where it needs to be, but there are a lot of people in Portugal that does amazing games, and of course we have a beautiful country. And the fun thing is that usually never rains, so you can leave your ponchos and come to Portugal. It rains, but only 30 days out of the full year, so you'll be free. Bring your shorts, your airsoft shorts.
Yeah, we don't have that.
Yeah. But Portugal is also a good place to come and play airsoft. Rob, before we continue and go delve a little bit more on the Airsofter World, we have one tradition in this podcast, which is everyone that comes here gets the Safe Zone badge, and this is exclusive. If you ever see a Portuguese player using this, it means that he already has been in the safe zone here or remotely. So you're entitled to one, and I promise you that I'm sending you this to your home for you to place in your collection. This is an exclusive patch, and only people that came into this podcast has it.
Thank you very much. I actually think I have to come and pick it up personally instead of you sending it to me.
You can. So I'll just leave it. I'll leave it here, and you can. Yes. And before going into Airsofter World, just for our audience there, at the end of this show, we're going to show you a really cool thing that we're going to start doing on these podcasts. Not only the Safe Zone, but the other Anna podcast that we have, Flashlight. Flashlight is another Airsoft podcast that we have, but while Safe Zone is more focused on discussing everything related to Airsoft, the Flashlight podcast, presented by Maria, we call it Primeira Dama in Portugal, is more focused
First
on...
lady.
Yeah, First Lady, if you do the translation. But Maria has the Flashlight, which is another podcast from Anna. And that podcast is focused more on knowing the teams and the people that run projects of Airsoft in Portugal. So it's a different podcast. But if you are willing to know a little bit more, next Friday she will be here, and she will show you a really cool set of people that play Airsoft in Portugal that you are not expecting. So tune in next Friday. So, Rob, Airsofter World. To the people that are watching this, the Portuguese, for us, I'm sure that for them, it's the first time that they are hearing this. What exactly is Airsofter World?
It's something that people try to explain me, like, hey, Rob, you need to find 1 minute that you can explain Airsofter World into. I can't. I really tried, and some people really, they push me into a corner, like, hey, Rob, you need to explain in 1 minute what Airsofter World is. And I will try to make it as brief as possible for everybody here, and then we can go into some details that you want to know. But Airsofter World is basically, it's a connection, and it's the best way to describe it. It's a connection around the world. It's not only events, because yes, that's the main thing that we struggle. We want to find we want to find events everywhere around the world. We don't want to look at borders anymore. Airsoft is way too small for borders. We want to go everywhere. We want to know the rules, and we want to find that. That's what Airsofter World does. That's the front of Airsofter World. We present Airsoft. You can make friends. You can add a team page. All the things you have in every social media or whatever it has been incorporated in Airsofter World. But the most important thing is that the whole background that is working in Airsofter World is providing you all the information that is provided by all the countries. Right now, we're working together with 35 different countries that we have active communication with. We have 15 associations that we talk with, and there are, on the Airsoft World website, there are 70 countries present. So it's basically a connection. It's a network. It's a database for Airsoft around the world.
Yeah. And you said two words that for me it's key, and I think it really makes justice to Airsofter World. It's Airsoft without borders. borderless airsoft. So it's basically we should not be confined of discussing airsoft in our own countries or feeling that we should not dispute airsoft in our countries first, but we need to open up a little bit of our horizons. Airsoft is much bigger than what is going on locally, and there are some examples that has been done elsewhere that we can use. So I think Airsoft World, like you said, I think it connects people and it connects countries, and hopefully, in the upcoming future, it will connect even more.
Yeah, and with Airsofter World, we try to bring everybody together. I'm a very some people call me utopian. I have a very positive vision on everybody should work together. And I strongly believe that Airsofter is an amazing game, hobby, sport, whatever you want to call it. People are be able to be themselves in that hobby, and we should connect together. I can be utopian about what I want to achieve with Airsofter World. And one of the best examples is going a little bit to the history of Airsofter World, because I didn't start Airsofter World. I rolled into it because I had my own platform in Belgium. And like you said, there shouldn't be any borders. And there is a country, every country has a platform, every country has a way that somewhere events are popping up, but it's so chaotic. It's insane. And everything needs funding. Everything needs people to run that. And there is also that one guy in a country running a certain website, and that guy burns out because he doesn't get any support from anybody else. I was that guy in Belgium, and I almost dropped the project that was Airsoft United a few times just because there is no support, there is no financial support, you're just doing it as a passion project. What if you can connect all those passionate people around the world, people from Portugal, people from Belgium, Sweden, Norway, everywhere around the world, and you only need one person for each country to create an amazing team. And that is why we have an amazing Discord with almost 70 or 80 people right now that all are passionate about Airsoft. And they don't want to think within their own borders. Yes, they do. They want to think within their own borders, but they also want to go outside of their borders. You need a strong national Airsoft community, and then you can also work on that international community. But there are countries that struggle to build that national community because for conflicts or whatever reason that there is. But that international thing will unite them because they have a reason to start talking to each other. Hey, we need to start talking to each other because we want to go to this or to that. And you have a connection there. And Airsoft World, like I said, is a network of connections.
I agree. I think I think Europe lacks of communication or lacked. And I think Airsofter World connected different countries, different organizations into. It broke the borders. But maybe we can show people what exactly is Airsofter World. Airsofter World is a website.
Yes. So there are Airsofter World is a website. It's a platform.
Maybe you can share your screen. I saw that you have the website on the second screen. Maybe
I think you have to do it.
Yeah.
So Airsofter World we focus now on the website. To go a little bit into history, why it is a website and nothing else right now is because Airsofter World is originated in Ukraine. And in 2014, Airsofter World was originated, and it was run only in Ukraine. And you can see that in the player database. About 9,000 Ukrainian airsofters are present on the platform. That I started working with Airsoft World 3 years ago. Now we all know what happened 2.5 years ago. 2 years ago, Russia invaded Ukraine, and basically everything stopped that we were working on. And that was a bummer for a lot of things. And we had to shift focus to where we can spend our little funds that we still have left on. And we had an app that was taken down by Google. We have a mobile website that was in development just while Russia was invading Ukraine. So there is no focus on that. We had to pick one. And that's why Airsoft World is a website right now. And then it's easy to port it to an app, which is almost already done for Android. For Apple, we need to work on that. The mobile version is not good. If you use it on the phone, use the desktop version, because then you have all the capabilities and you can search everything. But here you can see, for example, Ukraine has 9,000 people on the platform. If you go to Sweden, Sweden has about 150. and you can see every country. Portugal doesn't have that many people yet, but there are. Let me quickly check Portugal. I think there's a few on them. There we go. We got 42 Portuguese players that are on the platform, which is not that bad for a website that is not really known in Portugal.
For sure.
Exactly. So you have a news section. We just went over the players. You can find the players. You can find friends. And in the news section, it's basically a wall of airsoft information. Important, there is no algorithm behind it. You filter on what you want to see. In the future, there's going to be a lot more filter options because there's going to be a lot more content coming. And then you can filter on, I only want to see this person, this thing. But you, as a person, you have all the power to not see stuff if you don't want to.
So it gets a little bit of a social media environment.
Yes. Without the algorithm shoving things in your face.
Yeah.
The only thing that we have.
And without blocking our photos of airsoft.
Yes. This is a completely airsoft system. This is built for airsofters. The reason that on social media airsoft is in the same category as gun is because it's easy for them. And airsoft is way too small to take an account or put some extra development in it. This is like, well, it looks like the gun. It is a gun. Let's just remove everything. Here, this is only airsoft. It's moderated by airsofters. We know what an airsoft gun is. We know everything about airsoft. It's moderated. It's built for airsofters. And that's why also like Airsoft Action, the military news blog is now also starting to jump on this because all their pages got really affected by the other social media that doesn't like our guns. So now they're posting stuff here.
Yeah. So the first thing that is Airsofter World is a social airsoft environment in the sense, right?
Yes, it's a database of information.
Yeah. So it has this environment. Another thing that it does really cool, and I'm gonna jump right into this, is the event finder or to create events. And I'm speaking this because in Portugal we had some trials. Some individuals here and there try to do something like this. There is a website in Portugal called Diretorio Nacional, which is it's not for events, but for teams and players. But I remember the last trial that someone in Portugal tried to do this was 3 years ago. So basically, some guy in Portugal tried to do a database of where all airsoft games was to happen, and then you can just go into see in your region what is going on and select it. And it failed. And it comes back to this first, the start of our discussion, which is Airsofter World is to connect people. And I agree. We always try to discuss in Portugal. We need to build this. This is something that would be great, but in fact, that system already exists and is accessible for everyone already.
Yeah,
I think, and again, it touch point to what you said. Airsofter World is airsoft without borders. It connects everyone, and the same goes to tools and resources.
Yeah, exactly. Because it's a little bit insane if every country built their own platform, because you only have that many people that will put some money into a platform, because every platform that you want to build, it costs resources to build it. And why build 10 times or 20 times the same thing for a small community like Airsoft? And that's why Airsoft World is open for everybody to use. There's a small fee for organizers. We keep it as low as possible, of course. And we just want as many people here as possible. You mentioned that there was trials for people building something like that, they filter out the events from everywhere and they bring it to one website. Again, that's that one passionate person doing all the work for everybody else. That will fail. Eventually, that will fail because that person is going to burn out. He's going to get married. He's going to get kids. And then you have to start all over. And this is something that I don't want with Airsofter World. Airsofter World is a community-driven platform, which means that organizers have to put events on it. I'm not putting events on from the world. I do talk to organizers like, hey, why don't you use Airsofter World to reach more players and bring the database to life? Because if they put all the data on the website, everybody can find it. And if everybody does a little bit of work, again, utopian me, if everybody does a little bit of work, we have a massive database. And one example of that is it's a little bit hidden, but it will come later as a map. Let me quickly go there. You can see at all the locations that have been added around the world, there's actually a Portuguese location added. And that is not done by me. It is not done by one person. This is a community thing that has been done. Even America has some locations. Every organizer that organizes a game on Airsofter World has to add the location. So you have that data. You don't have to create the map from scratch. You don't have to go into a Google tool to put tags on a map. This is automatically generated. And later on, you can be like, okay, well, this is a green pin. It's an active field. If it's an orange pin, it means that the field has not been played on for 6 months. If it's a red pin, it's for a year. If it's a gray pin, it's over a year that it has not been used. And because you automate all that data, you don't have to put in all the work, and every data that is on Airsofter World is active. And that's why this is the best way to do it. Yes, it is a lot of work to talk to the people, to convince them to use it, and get all the people on board with the platform. That's the hard work. It's easy to be like, I'm going to build a platform and I'm going to put all the pins on it. It's harder to work together. And this is why we put so much time and effort into talking to people. And that's why I'm happy that I can be on this podcast to talk about this.
Nice. No, because I think it is important. And especially this feature, I think it's really important because I give you an example in Portugal. The way you find games in Portugal outside of the big events, of course, this is highly promoted. You can find it really easily, at least with some. But usually there are a lot of clubs and a lot of fields that do their own thing, their own little game, and their own not little game, but their own little thing. And in Portugal, our tendency is to find airsoft games through Facebook, either by the pages of those teams, either by Facebook or direct messaging, because there are a lot of games and fields that are very privately. It's very small communities, very localized, that use them. And I think, and that's why we always discussed of having a platform like this. Everyone already commented around Portuguese social media or around with friends or around in the field. We should build an app to find something. I need to just get into a website and see, okay, in Lisbon, what games will exist, where can I find it? And this already exists. Now it's just a matter of fact. Now the challenge is to make people to use it.
Yes.
I will have still not used it. I want to test it in my field with my team, and I will use it in the upcoming weeks for sure, just to feel how other players react to it and if it works or not.
It is indeed. People need to get used to it. It's something completely different. We're used to having stuff shoved into our face, and we like it. We like reels. We like everything chewed before us, and this is something you need to sit down and you need to search the thing. You need to filter on things. Now, this is not done. This is not completely a finished product. Mm-hmm. This is a work in progress, and people need to give us some time because we need to find funding. We need to find things to upgrade. And we have a full list of all the things that we want to make better. There is glitches in the translation. There is some things that are not 100% working, but it works. And it's the best thing we have right now around the world for the world. And one thing that I want to show is how nice things work together. For example, if you went to Verhaeghe and Verhaeghe put their event on here, you can follow an event. Like I can follow the event. And if I follow the event, I get notified for everything. And if I put up an album with my pictures, this is linked to the event itself. So everybody that went to the event, they get a notification. Hey, somebody added an album of pictures to the event that you went to. You want to check it out. This is something you can never see on Facebook or Instagram or whatever, because there is just too much. And here you can be like, hey, I want to follow this event, only this event, and I want to get all the information from that event. And that's nice. Yeah, because you don't have to know the people. On Facebook, they only going to show what your friends have been adding to the event. Here, it's everybody. And then you can connect to new people. You can find new people. Again,
that's
big network.
That's key. We all of us players already have some sort of history or some memory of being a game, having some independent guy who's running who's doing their first airsoft game, or you don't have a team, and you thought for yourself, man, I wish I knew who that guy was so I can connect with him and invite him to my team. And yeah, I think that that feature
And
fills in a little bit of that.
you have a profile. It's like a social thing. You have a profile. You can link to all your other social medias, and this is something that I really, really like to show to the world. You can have a friends list, and if you look at all the flags, this is how international airsoft is. Yes, there's a lot of Belgian flags because, well, I'm Belgian, but there is a lot of other flags. There's Swedish, Finnish, Taiwan, UK, Czech Republic, Italy. There's America, Switzerland. There's a lot of nationalities here that are connected, and this is how airsoft should be, a connection of those people.
Yeah, and you also have some sort of gamification type of things there,
Yes.
right? So you can score points.
Yeah, if I go back to players, each time because we want to endorse people to go to events, and if you go to events, you get points. It's not like, oh, you were the best player. No, you just went to a game and you get points. If you go to a game in your area, you get some points. If you go to a game outside of your local area, you get extra points, because again, we want to stimulate people to go find new fields, go to different events that they're not used to go to. And then at the end of the year, like this is the Swedish ranking, you can have 50 points, 45 points. This is the top 5 of all the Swedish players that played on events. Now, I'm the only one using this system right now in Sweden. So all the players that are in the ranking here, they are players from my events. And then one thing that we do again is we're bringing things together, because with the points, like in Germany last year we did this, there was a German organizer, there was a German shop promoting the platform, and there were German players. So at the end of the year, we just took the 5 first players from Germany, we asked them their address, and they got a mystery package from a shop. And this was not announced. This was just, hey, we have a network. We're using that network to bring everything together. We're talking to organizers, talking to the shops, talking to the players, and you get something from it. And they were super happy about it because, well, again, it was not announced. It's a nice gamification thingy. If you go to longer games, more points. If you go to bigger games, more points. It's just a fun little gimmick that is on the platform.
It is. And gamification always works. Always works. And in Airsoft as well.
Yes.
Rob, you said that Airsofter World is to connect people, to connect organizations, to connect countries. We all know that in order to play Airsoft, we need to play Airsoft. I know that Airsofter World is doing something to connect countries as well with a sort of competition. I will hold you there because I want to run just one thing that we run on every safe zone, and because it's in English, because our guests do not speak Portuguese, we made subtitles, so you will also be able to play. So what we do is, Nuno Pedro, se calhar change the camera. We're not going to challenge you. We're going to challenge everyone on at home. So every podcast, every safe zone, we well, not totally fair. Sometimes we cannot do it, but most of the safe zone podcasts, we have a little game, which is we play. Every one of us who are here, we play, and when we go to a field, we just film someone. So we film. We ask them, hey. Basically, how much it costs your loadout. So what you have, what we are wearing. Look, I have this type of vest. I have this type of sunglasses. So basically, the challenge is we're gonna ask this player what he's wearing. He will try to explain everything that he has, and then we're gonna have 3 options. And everyone, you, Rob, and everyone at home, and we as well, we need to pick which is the correct one. So how much does that player has in their body, in their game? So let's check before going into the Airsoft World competition, let's check this week's loadout with English subtitles. Então, nome e equipa.
Blackbeard, Mountain Wolf.
Blackbeard, então vamos lá ver quanto é que custou o teu loadout. Vamos começar por cima. Tu tens em cima um capacete, certo?
Um capacete, mais a capa. Comprei isto na loja da Combate Virtual.
E tens os óculos e a máscara também?
A máscara também veio da Combate Virtual, os óculos são da Uvex.
Ok. Tens um colete, de qual é a marca do teu colete?
Conquer, é o MPC, full set.
Mas não
Já houve alterações. O colete é da Conquer, este porta-megs um 3 na individual AliExpress.
E tens aqui umas bolsas também?
A bolsa também veio, a multifunções também veio do AliExpress. Esta lateral também.
Tens aqui uma mochila atrás, que onde é que a compraste?
Também veio do AliExpress. A mochila já vem com os apliques próprios para meter no colete.
Boa. E compraste também um cinturão.
O cinturão mandei vir também do AliExpress. Os acessórios igual. O porta-torniquete elástico também veio do AliExpress. O porta-carregadores são estes três, dois para secundária, uma para primária, também veio do AliExpress. Isto é ambidestro, dá para mudar tanto para quem é esquerdino como quem é destro.
E tens
O downpad também veio do AliExpress. Outro porta-mec também do AliExpress.
E tens um cold de
O
perna.
cold de perna veio da VS Gun.
E o teu fardamento?
O fardamento também comprei na altura na Combate Virtual.
Boa.
As botas, umas botas minimamente confortáveis e que dê alguma proteção. Eu prefiro de cano alto porque em terrenos acidentados qualquer torcida é complicado para o jogador. Então se for de cano alto oferece alguma proteção para o tornozelo.
Então, e ao Blackbird, quanto é que achas que custou este loadout que tens hoje?
€400.
Boa. Obrigadão.
Obrigado.
The answer did not add the subtitles, but let me challenge you. How do you? What is your option? A Blackbird, which is a Portuguese player. How much he was wearing? 350, 400, or 550?
Well, I understood the Portuguese that he answered, but I wrote down like I wrote down like I made a list of the prices that I thought, and I wrote down C. Where is my finger? Here somewhere. So I thought it was 550. And
It had a lot of AliExpress.
yes,
and-
but he did have a Conquer chest rig, which is about
Yeah.
100 and something. And then I focused on I missed the shoes, so I had to be like if depending on the size of the shoes, depending on how expensive they were, it's going to be like 450, 550. I came up, if I calculated, I was 500. So I was like so then I took 550.
Yeah, but he had a lot of things from AliExpress, which you usually ship, and of course from Portuguese stores are also shipped. So if you are watching this from outside of Portugal, just check Portuguese stores because they also have some nice things in there. But yeah, this was this week's loadout. Rob, you usually do this with different loadouts, of course. Some more expensive, some more really cheap. I remember that we did one. It was fully load out in the sense, but he only spent €150, which for someone who was just starting airsoft is really nice to see because you can be classy, be in fashion without spending too much money.
Yeah, and I don't think the €400 that he spent, because that's the answer that he gave, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
it was cheap.
it's
in
not
a
a lot of money for everything that he had.
It really felt like a very tactical operator in the sense. But yeah, so Airsoft World. We were discussing that Airsoft World exists to connect people in the sense. Can you share with us what Airsoft World is doing with your Airsoft World games?
Yes. So Airsoft World Games was an ID that started like a year ago. I was talking with some people. I was like, can we keep the people connected? Because yes, there is a way of bringing people together, talking with all the associations, talking with all the people that are doing a lot for Airsoft. But there is a lot of talking. But there should be something that keeps the people talking. Because if you keep talking about legislation and about all the boring stuff, people will be like, I want to do something else. They were like, well, what if we make a competition? And then we started talking to other associations. Well, we actually need a competition. And if we think about competition in Airsoft, we always think about Speedsoft or IPSC. And this is not what most airsofters do. I totally understand why people like IPSC. I totally understand why people like Speedsoft. It's not what we do, what most people in Airsoft do. So we're like, how can we make a competition that is mission driven and that speaks to most of the people? And another reason is, well, you give the player to live and train to something. Because if you go to a Sunday game, eventually you're gonna be like, well, it's been the same for years now. I don't know what to do now. Then you could go to bigger milsims, but still you're missing some competition. You're missing like, what's the next step? So we wanted to keep players longer in the game. So we were like, well, Airsofter World Games, let's build a competition specifically for the people that come from Sunday games, went to milsims, and they're in a hole now. So those are the few reasons why Airsofter World Games was created. And also I like the competition part. So there's always a personal note about that. And the more I talked about it, the more people were like, well, yeah, that would be very nice to have a competition around the world. And yes, there are things that are happening, like Romania has a competition. I think Czech had a competition. There's always something. But again, they stay within their country. And we have that network. We have the people that we've been talking to, just use the network to build something. And then how do we connect everything? Because that's the most important thing. We cannot be Airsofter World and go to Portugal and be like, hey, we're going to organize a game on your field and it's going to be a competition. No, Airsofter World provides a rule book, a framework, and they talk to the association. So they talk to Anna and they'll be like, hey, can you talk to an organizer and run those games? And we provide the whole framework. We provide everything for Anna to run those games the same way that we do with every other country. And that way it's everywhere the same. And we have the Airsofter World talking to the association is talking to the organizer is talking to teams, and the teams are talking to their team members. So we have everything in one package. And then we just have to make it as fun as possible, and bring it to as many people as possible. So Airsofter World Games is a 5 versus 5 mission-driven competition, and can be played in every field. Now we mostly do it in CQB fields because it's most controllable. But it can be played in a woodland environment. You can have LMGs, you can have sniper teams involved into that. We're not doing that. We're taking it step by step. And 2024 is the year of testing. So we run 3 test games, 2 in Belgium, 1 in Sweden. We're talking to Germany, Norway, Netherlands, and Portugal to see what is possible to run games. So we did a test in the live stream because, again, we want to bring this to as many people as possible. We want you as a player to sit at home and root for your team and be like, hey, our team is playing in the competition. Let's see how they do. That's what I want for Airsoft. This is the next step. You have to have sport element in Airsoft. So Airsofter World Games brings that sport element into Airsoft scene. And then 2025, we're going to have national games. Probably most countries are going to have 1 game to start with. And then 2026, we have our first international game. And that's the timeline that we have right now.
And one of the things you said it, Portugal is to run a test this year. We are working on it. And one of the things that I realized is that, and and it feels the whole conversation that we had here. I felt the connected environment. So I was able to see what Belgium has done, what you have done in Sweden. Also, one of the colleagues, I don't recall where it was, but they do the test game and they post a report. So they show to others, look, we tried to do this, it didn't work. We tried to do this, it worked. So this is sums up a little bit of what Airsofter World is. And you mentioned it's connect people. Is to why work locally? Why try to do things in your own local things that ultimately will fail? Because, like you said, people come, people go. Why not just bring the borders down and connect with everyone? Look, I'm trying to build this, and someone from the other side of Europe, hey, look, we did this, this work did not work. We already tried this, or we already have these resources. Is here. So too. So Airsoft World is really connecting people, and I felt that with Airsoft World as we were preparing to build our test game. I just got a lot of information, and it's really, really cool for an organizer to be able to discuss things with people that already tried things.
Yes, and that's what we want. It's what I said. It's a reason to keep talking to each other, away from all the political, boring stuff, the things that are also important that the associations are working on, but you bring a fun thing into the thing to talk about. And it's not only about, legislation. It's about building a competition that later on you can use to recognize Airsoft as a sport, because a lot of countries, they need to have a national or an international competition anyway to be recognized as a sport.
Yeah. So let's check. As we're talking, there are a couple of comments here. So Paulo Reis saying basically like a paintball competition.
No. Because if you go to paintball, then you go to the Speedsoft area. That's the big difference between those games, is that this is an asymmetrical game. I didn't mention that, but the asymmetrical game part makes sure that you focus on the mission. Both parties have different missions. Our test game is looters versus task force. The looters have to select, they have to collect different things. We tried two different missions already. And then the task force needs to disrupt that mission by doing something else. And that way you are focused on your mission. You're not focused on taking out the people. Yes, taking out the people will make your mission easier, but you don't get any points for that. It's the completion of the mission that is important.
And it's important to note that those missions, if it can be, it tries to be the same across all countries. Of course, adjustments needs to be done. And I know that some missions can also be submitted. But the idea is to everyone play the same game. Of course, different environments, different fields, but try to do the same dynamic at least.
For the first years, we're gonna, because most people are not always creative to build the mission that we try to fit into the program. But later on, everything is on the table. You can build your own mission as long as it's asymmetrical and there is two sides on the story, and there's a mission involved. Sure. Also important, we have limitations on ammo, because there is ammo restrictions, there is gear restrictions, so you have to have a plate carrier. So there's no running gunning with a pistol with a drum mag underneath it.
Yeah, but I'm sure our Portuguese players will know a little bit more about it, because soon enough we're gonna share more information around it, and they will be able to play it as a test run.
Yeah, really looking forward to that.
Yeah, and we also try to, because we have the setup and the knowledge, test and error by YouTube and Google 2 years ago. We have the cameras. We will also try to run the live stream thing, because like you said, it's not only connect players, but connect the community. So I'm not playing there, or I'm not playing the Airsofter World in Belgium, but I want to check it. I want to see it. So that's the idea. I have a comment here from Sergio. Saying, Sergio, the competition could bring more immortals. How to combat this situation in an open field competition? Let me answer this. Sergio, this competition is not like you usually do on our Sundays, where go play it for 4 or 5 hours and then we meet. This is competitions between teams, 5 versus 5, controlled by marshals. So it's a true competition, a controlled environment in a sense. Okay, so I know that Immortals will not be a thing for sure. So Rob.
We actually had a it's one of the things, it's the hot discussion topics that we have. How are you going to counter cheaters or people not taking hits? Right now we didn't have any problems during the 3 test games that we run, because you are playing in an enclosed environment and it's a very controlled environment, and that's why we try to play on CQB fields now instead of open fields, which we're gonna go to later. There are cameras on the people. We run GoPros on the people. So there is also the honor aspect, and a penalty system is going to be included as a team. So if one of the people in your team is not following the rules, it's not going only affect the one person that is not following the rules. It's going to affect the whole team, and we need to be very strict on that. And if you want to make sure that your team is disqualified for the rest of the season, well, then you cheat. But that is going to affect on not only on yourself, but on the whole team that's going to be disqualified. Your mic is not working right now.
Sorry. When we have issues with the podcast, it's because of a character well known in Portugal called Techmerk, which is the bad guy from Dystopia, and hacker usually messes up a little bit. But I'm seeing the comments from Paulo Reis. I know that some people try to do some sort of competition around airsoft, outside of the speeds of the recreational airsoft. And last month, actually, I played a game like this. Very, 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 very good game and a competition like. But what Airsofter World is trying to do is a competition that can be played everywhere. So,
yep.
Ready to use. Place it on your field, execute it with the guidelines, and you are eligible to be in a competition between other people around the world. That's the idea, I guess, right, Rob?
Yes, that's exactly. We build it because you, as an organizer, you know the choke points of your field. You know what, for example, your field has an amazing helicopter in the middle of your field, whatever. You want to use that in the competition because you know the best ways in, out, and you can avoid all the choke points. We did the game in Belgium and we knew the staircases were choke points. So they put up orange blinking lights, which made an extra rule in the rule book specifically for that one game, is that if you're in the room with an orange blinking light, you're not allowed to stand still. You need to keep moving. And that's only happening, that's only possible if you work together with the organizer that knows the field in and out. And then you can play this on any field as long as you start communicating with the organizers.
Yeah. So very excited for the Portugal tests in earlier December. For the Portuguese audience, you will learn more about it soon. And hopefully we'll be able to run a good test and try things out and give feedback as well in order to improve the dynamic and improve the project. Rob, 1 hour of podcast, we're gonna start closing here. I want to say thanks first of all for being here with us, connect with the Portuguese audience as well, to explain a bit more of what Airsofter World is. I invited you because I really trust that Airsofter World has the potential to be a big step in the future, a big step of the future of Airsoft. So fingers crossed that everything goes well, and hopefully Airsofter World will be massive. And hopefully we'll have an international Airsoft World competition.
We're gonna keep working on it anyway, and I know I can talk for a very long time about this project, and we only touched on the surface of Airsofter World. If people have any questions about it, they can send me everything that they want to know, or if they have problems, please communicate with me and talk to me about it. And there is more stuff that we want to do in the future, and I will talk to you about that in a private message, because I'm very interested in how you think about the next international Airsoft game that we're gonna build.
Paulo is saying in Portuguese, Pestana, our game that we made is competitive. Yeah, it was very cool, very good idea. Something that we are Airsoft World is trying to do, but I'll explain a little bit more on a personal side, Paulo. But yeah, Rob.
It's important that people are ready for it and that they are open minded for what we try to do and also what you guys want to try to do, because you believe in what Airsofter World is doing is a good thing.
Yeah, for sure. So Rob, thank you very much for being on Safe Zone. Hopefully, will not be the last time. And don't forget, you said that you will be here.
Yeah, I know.
Pick this up, so I will not say it. I'll stay here, and when you come to Portugal, I for sure I will deliver it to you. Hopefully next year or the next you and your wife will be able to visit us.
It gives me a reason to visit.
For sure. And next year, a banger of a Milsim will happen in Portugal. A lot of them. But from Anna, you cannot miss it. So yeah, surprises, only in Milsim. So
Good.
thank you very much.
Thank you for having me.
And we'll continue to speak. For the Portuguese audience, connect with Rob. Rob, do the same. Connect with the Portuguese audience. We are a very bunch of cool guys and girls. We have a big community of airsoft girls. Actually, I'm using their shirt today. It's not pink, but they are. But yeah, connect with the Portuguese people, airsofters, because overall, it's a bunch of really cool guys and gals. Of course, there are here and there, but yeah, a very good community to play. And whenever we go outside of Portugal, we also very good people to.
Yeah, I had good experiences with Portuguese players.
Nice. So thank you, and we'll speak soon.
Have a good day.
Ciao. So let's close this episode in English. Like we did it in full English, so let's conclude it in English. Before we go, we want to share with you something that will happen in Flashlight next week, and we're gonna show you what we have prepared for Flashlight and Safe Zone. But in order for this to work, I need to be mobile. I need to move outside of this. I need to go through Anna's headquarters, and I want to show you something. And because we need to be mobile, I need to use this. So give me a time in order to prepare this. And in the meantime, I'm going to explain you. So for the ones that went to our last event, Night Ops in July, we did a test with a thing called Top Gunner. Top Gunner is basically how do you say it, Pedro? How do you say Top Gunner? What is Top Gunner? What is Top Gunner?
It's a shooting contest.
A shooting contest.
Yeah, maybe. Do you like the definition?
It is a
Yeah.
shooting competition for sure. Wait, I'm trying to. This is a shooting competition.
Yeah. We're going to try it a new segment in our podcast.
Yeah.
In the end of the podcast.
So let's do this. Let's get a strike from YouTube. I don't know for the ones that are watching us, if you watched Top Gear, which is an automobile, a cars thing. So at the end of the show, they had the Sting lap. So the guest of that show was to be tested on that lap, and they would score a time of that. So we picked that idea, and we wanted to do something related to it on our podcasts, but related to airsoft. Of course, we don't have machines in here, automobiles in here. So what we did is we challenged the stores, the Portuguese stores. One of them, Central Strike, joined forces with us, and we created Top Gunner. So starting from Flashlight next week, every person that comes here, we need to be tested on our shooting range. And after that shooting range, we'll make it
on the scoreboard.
A scoreboard. What we want to find is who is the best gunslinger in Portugal. We're gonna first kickstart it in the podcast, but we ultimately gonna move it to an event. So we want to test your shooting, and we want to find the best 3 gunslingers in Portugal. Of course, as time goes, as Top Gunner evolves, you can expect some prizes and you can expect some things really nice to it. So I'm trying to make this work. Sorry, first time. Okay.
Okay.
I think we are,
Yeah.
here.
Yeah.
So let me. So hopefully you hear me on the feedback loop, Reggie. Yeah. So can you hear me? I need to see on the comments if you can hear me. Can you hear me? So this is a nice view. This is the Regie. And for the ones who do not know, this is our podcast studio. And okay, take it. Every end of the podcast, either safe zone or flash zone, we're gonna do this. We're gonna ask our guests to come here and to shoot that range here. So whenever you shoot it, it goes down, but also it comes up in a sense. We have an app that will show you the exact time that you did it. So basically, what you need to do is to grab this gun that was provided by Central Strike, and Central Strike is sponsoring Top Gunner for the time being. This season. For the ones who are not from Portugal and are seeing these beautiful, beautiful paintings, this is our law. It is mandatory in Portugal that we paint our replicas, airsoft guns, here and here. Of course, you can cover it, but because we do what the law dictates, we leave it like this. So basically, we will challenge every guest that comes to safe zone and flashlights to shoot it. We will not shoot it, and we will not shoot it because we don't have safety goggles. Number one rule in airsoft: you do not shoot one airsoft replica if you do not wear glasses. So that's why we're not using it today. After you do this, every guest will be able to have a score. We can already see that Nuno has the high score. Pestana is on the second place, and this is, I think, Felipe. Don't mind it. This is just, this is not real. This was Nuno that did this. So, Central is sponsoring Top Gunner for this season, and we want to understand who will be the top gunslinger in Portugal. This will be moved to events, and on game site, on event site, you will be able to get the top score. If you get the top score, you will get some cool new prizes that can potentially be free tickets for all any events. So you cannot miss it. You're in a seat Top Gunner in any events, go there, try your luck, do your best, be the best gunslinger in Portugal, and we'll give you some gifts. So let's conclude our show for today. Sorry for the mess. First time being mobile. So let's get back into it. So I'm back. Nuno Pedro, está em mute. So, this is what you can expect next week. We cannot do this today because, man, we don't have the safety goggles on our headquarters. How can it be? And because we don't have it, we will not shoot it. But next week, Maria will be here with flashlight Friday, and her guests, because it will be multiple guests, will be tested there, and they will be the first to benchmark our top score. Then it's up to our next guests in Safe Zone 2 weeks from now to go there. And I can already tell you what the next Safe Zone will be about. So next Safe Zone, I will have here with me Speedsofters. We're going to discuss Speedsoft. I will have some Speedsoft teams that they only play Speedsoft. They don't like recreational airsoft. And we're going to discuss it, about it. So Maria will be here next week. I will return in 2 weeks. And as always, you can always watch this on YouTube, our Facebook pages, or Spotify. So, Nuno Pedro, thank you very much for your presence, for helping out with the technicalities. Thank you again for Rob, our guest for today, who explained to us a little bit more of what Airsofter World is. It's more than a website. It's a mindset in the sense. Connect people, bring down borders, and make airsoft really truly universal, international. Because as we learn from different corners of the world, we can move airsoft faster into the future. So Hey everyone. Next week, Portuguese will be back. Safe Zone and Flashlight will be in Portuguese again. This is only a very special program because of Rob. And some things cannot be translated, and one of the things that cannot be translated is our intro. So, voltem a meter os megs na réplica, porque saíram agora do